Trump just declared total economic warfare on Canada, and it's already backfiring spectacularly. Andrew Meatrich here, former state media analyst who chose truth over propaganda. I'm coming to you from Europe with breaking news that will shake your understanding of global power. You won't believe what just happened between America and its closest ally. And then, Europe just pulled the biggest sanctions shocker since the war began, targeting countries you'd never expect. We're talking about moves that could reshape the entire world economy in weeks. Here's what the mainstream media won't tell you. Trump's trade strategy isn't just failing, it's destroying American interests faster than anyone imagined. And Europe? They're playing chess, while everyone else plays checkers. If you want the truth behind the headlines, smash that like button now. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because tomorrow the news could change everything. And if you believe independent journalism matters, consider supporting our work. It keeps us free from corporate influence. The clock is ticking. Let me show you exactly what's happening. Trump terminated all trade talks with Canada over a 3% digital tax. Let me repeat that. 3%. The man who negotiated the USMCA in his first term just torched America's second-largest trading partner over pocket change. Canada imports over $400 billion worth of American goods annually. That's food on American tables, jobs in American factories. And now listen carefully. Trump slapped 35% tariffs on Canadian goods, the highest rate since the Great Depression. The Canadian response? Brutal retaliation, 25% counter tariffs on $30 billion of American exports, steel, aluminum, cars, everything. Mark Carney, Canada's new Prime Minister, isn't backing down like Trump expected. Here's where it gets even worse. American softwood lumber prices are skyrocketing. 30% of America's lumber comes from Canada. Trump just made every American home more expensive with his trade tantrum. You see the pattern, right? This isn't strategic negotiation, it's economic self-destruction. Trump thought he could bully Canada like he bullied smaller countries. He was dead wrong. The numbers don't lie, and they're absolutely devastating for America. Canada's unemployment hit 7%, but guess what? American construction costs are through the roof. American manufacturers can't get the materials they need. Just imagine that for a second. Trump started a trade war to help American workers and ended up pricing them out of housing. The irony would be hilarious if it wasn't destroying lives. And now listen carefully to this. The stock markets crashed when Trump announced the trade termination. The S&P 500 turned negative instantly. Even Wall Street knows this is insanity. But here's what really shows Trump's desperation. He demanded Canada drop a tax that would barely affect American tech giants. But now he's destroying $800 billion in bilateral trade. That's not negotiation. That's economic vandalism. If you're still with me, hit that like button. It tells me you want the truth, not just the headlines, because what I'm about to tell you about Europe will blow your mind completely. But if you think this is bad, wait until you hear what's happening in Europe with their unprecedented sanctions shocker. While America shoots itself in the foot, Europe just dropped the biggest sanctions bombshell since the war began. The EU's 18th sanctions package isn't just targeting Russia anymore. They're going after China, India, and countries that help Russia evade restrictions. You won't believe this. Europe sanctioned 444 Russian Shadow Fleet vessels in one move. That's the largest sanctions action in G7 history. They're choking off Russia's oil revenues like never before. And now listen carefully. For the first time ever, they're targeting Chinese banks directly. Two major Chinese financial institutions just got hit. Beijing is furious and threatening retaliation. Here's where it gets even more shocking. Europe is considering secondary sanctions on any country helping Russia. That means they could target entire economies, not just individual companies. We're talking about economic warfare on a scale never seen before. The EU just lowered Russia's oil price cap to $47 per barrel. Russian revenues have collapsed by $78 billion since these measures began. Putin's war machine is running out of cash. But wait, there's more. China just retaliated against European banks, proving Europe's strategy is working. Beijing sanctioned Lithuanian banks in direct response. The gloves are completely off now. Let me repeat that. When your enemy starts hitting back desperately, you know you're winning. China wouldn't waste political capital on bank sanctions unless they were genuinely hurt. And now listen carefully to this bombshell. Europe is preparing to trigger something called the anti-circumvention tool. That's diplomatic language for secondary sanctions that could target China's entire economy if they keep helping Russia. Just imagine that for a second. Europe, not America, is leading the economic fight against authoritarianism. While Trump destroys alliances, Europeans are building the coalition that will win this war. What do you think? Comment below. Are you seeing how Europe is becoming the real leader of the free world, while America stumbles around breaking its own relationships? The European approach is working. Russian oil revenues dropped from 100 billion euros in 2022 to just 22 billion in 2024. That's economic strangulation on an industrial scale. Here's what this all means, and why you should care desperately. We're watching the collapse of American economic leadership in real time. Trump is alienating allies while Europe builds the coalitions that actually work. Canada will survive Trump's tantrum. They're already diversifying away from American markets. But America? It just lost its most reliable partner over bureaucratic pride. That's not strength, that's strategic suicide. Meanwhile, Europe is systematically dismantling authoritarian economics. They're proving that coordinated pressure works better than chaotic threats. Putin's economy is crumbling under sustained European leadership. You see the future unfolding here. America throws away relationships while Europe builds them. America creates chaos while Europe creates results. This is how empires end and new powers rise. Stay informed, stay alert, and never let them feed you comfortable lies. The world is changing faster than ever, and only independent voices will tell you the truth. Like this video if you want more real analysis. Subscribe because the establishment media won't give you this perspective. And support independent journalism. We're the only ones left telling you what's really happening. Comment below with your thoughts. Your voice matters in this fight for truth.